Thank you, Mr. Tapan. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I'll switch off the video so that communication is good,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Correct.
I'll show the presentation. Thank you. So to start with, yeah, I'll be speaking in a very short presentation for this encouragement in the MSME sector, because today MSME is a big buzz and everyone is asking that how MSME is supporting Indian growth vision 2024, what our Prime Minister and our central government is seeing. But there are a lot of challenges in the MSME sector post-COVID also, which needs to be addressed so that we can sustain and we can also be a part of this growth division. So to start with, I'll just give a small, I'll start giving a small presentation on our company, what we are doing. So we are basically Pascal Switchgear, which is having around 15,000 units footprint today all over India and outside also to Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and some other parts of Africa. So here we are mainly manufacturing 11 kV AIS switchgears up to 25 kiloampere, which is our basically the star product, where we have our own breakers also. And then we are manufacturing 11 kV switchgears of 40 kiloampere as an OEM partner of ABB, where ABB is supplying the breaker and we are making the panel and the controlling system. Then we are also doing 33 kV air insulated switchgears with ABB as the breaker supplier. And then we are doing 132 kV control and relay panels and SCADA automation panel. So this is currently our profile, and we are also in the vision of doing a lot of R&D in becoming an expert in the medium voltage switchgear and low voltage switchgear in the coming times. So we normally we are building everything almost in-house. So we have a lot of completely integrated indigenous manufacturing unit with a complete green technology paint shop, which is been installed in our premises. We have punching bending machine, which is installed in our premises, and almost 6,500 unit of assembly shop, which can cater to the various customers all over India. We have a team strength of around 400 people now in our family. But definitely in the recent times, we are seeing a lot of growth, and then this manpower skill will be very recently will go to 1,000. So we are consistently growing, and we have crossed 100 crores in just 7 years' time of the launch of our business and products. These are some of our customers, which is almost we have penetrated 18 states out of 28, where we are supplying our panels are installed for almost more than 5 years. We are giving a lot of switchgears to coal fields, central mines, Indian Railways, MES, and Public Works Department. These are all who are the government users of our product. Apart from that, there are a lot of private users also. And recently in Industry Outlook magazines also, they have recognized our company as the top 10 switchgear manufacturer of India. So coming to the topic, what I wanted to highlight, this is the encouragement of MSME for sustainable growth. There is a vision statement from Mr. Modi, our Prime Minister, that MSME is the backbone of the growth story of India. And you will find a lot of encouraging statement from the budget this year also on the energy interventions across sectors, which will be around 9.2% of the economic growth, which is a quite a high figure. Then we are having a plan of 280 gigawatt of solar energy by 2020, where there will be some PLI incentives for local manufacturing. So these are very encouraging statements from the Prime Minister as well as from central government, which are helping us to get motivated with the growth story. Then there are some statements from Mr. Nitin Gadkari, what we have noticed here recently, that this lower cost of L1 are no longer the only way to select bidders. This is a very encouraging statement for anybody who is looking for a technological growth and not on the price war. Because once we are investing in the R&D, we expect that the investment is being recognized on the basis of the technological brilliance and not on the price only. So these are some of the statements which are really encouraging for us. Then you find that with the Atmanirbhar Abhiyan, there was a lot of stimulus packages, which is almost of a magnitude of 3 lakh crores, which is a big amount to be pumped to the MSMEs in India as a part of this Abhiyan. So these some of the statements and some of the encouragements are coming from the government. But if you see as a MSME, as a real user of this, we are having still a lot of challenges to be implemented. And this implementation, without this implementation, you will find that all these packages will not be effective in the ground. So majorly, I have pointed out some of the key challenges respect to the power sector switchgear business on the MSME front. Once what has been mentioned for many, I mean, many of the speakers today, that procurement of raw material, even after post-COVID, this is a big challenge which has come up for any of the suppliers of manufacturing unit, and particularly for an MSME who are dependent on a lot of big players like Tata Steel, like big players like Hindalco and Copper from China or somewhere else. This is a big impact to us. So that is going to that is impacting all our production cycle. Then there is a new recent times you will find that a lot of issues are with the microchip accessibility for relays and meters, which is also impacting our complete delivery cycle and whatever commitment we have given. Then coming to the part of the product identification, that we are seeing a lot of specifications with a particular clause of 5 years validity. And as our honorable guest from CSC has mentioned, that we are expecting the product obsolescence as we should not be there. But this statement is actually contradicting that every time the specifications of the most of the utilities which is coming up are saying that 5 years validity of your type test and your product should be there. So they are always compelling us to have a retype test of the product. And once we are doing for that one, we are also going for some optimization and all those things, which is making our challenges to keep the product which is already there in the field for longer time. So there has to be some actions taken for this one, where we should be proposing that wherever you're making a specification, you go by the design specification parameters of the IEC guidelines, not on the year validity. So high cost of credit is a big challenge for us. That is already known to many of the MSME people who are working today. If you see to the today, bank is giving a collateral for us for against the performance bank guarantee claims, which is almost for everywhere it is more than 5% or 10%. Today, this kind of collaterals is only blocking the liquidity, and they're developing any product or making scaling up of for the product to be supplied to various customers is impacted a lot, being a small player in this field. Then we have another issue with the design check and product approval. Today, if you see in the specifications, we are getting a lot of things which is written. But once people are quoting, and whenever somebody is participating in a tender, there is no process of proper approval of the product. Only some documentations are being submitted, and something on the paper has been verified, but no physical verification has happened, no stage inspection has happened. So we are finding that a lot of Chinese influence is coming inside our country also, where many of the products are getting camouflaged, and some inferior code technology has been pushed in, where the entire ecosystem is getting disturbed because of this kind of product, and the blame is coming on the entire manufacturing sector. So there need to be some kind of regulations or some kind of product approval authorities who can actually validate the suppliers by checking all the parameters. Then we get a lot of tenders which is on the farm pricing policy, which is a big impact. If you see today, since once the bid gets opened, after that the bid closing is almost around maybe 1 month, 2 months, or maybe at times 3 months, and we have been asked to give a firm price. Now, farm pricing, we are not in a control of neither in the RMI indices, which is completely out of our hand. Then all the fuel cost and everything on the transport cost, everything is varying. There are a lot of stringent LD clauses also in the specification, which is impacting that whatever is the flaw for our inputs as well as for our outputs has been put back to the MSMEs only, where MSMEs are at the biggest hit point. So farm pricing policy is impacting a lot in any kind of MSME who are participating in big tenders. Then I think many of us has mentioned the same thing, that poor maintenance in the site. Since there are a lot of high warranty clauses have been put into the specification, we as a supplier are bound to supply to the customer on whether on the account that we are not the part of the maintenance. So whatever there is a flaw in the maintenance side, that has been put back on the clause of warranty, which is again hitting our deliverables and our liquidity for a particular product. So based on all this thing, what we want to say is that sustaining today for an MSME is a big challenge. But definitely, if MSMEs in this field, particularly in switchgear industry, is not there, then there will be another big challenge. What I want to highlight here. If you see the total market of today, medium voltage switchgear is almost around 40,000 units, which is going to cater to around 2035. If we project that this will be increased by 2.3 times the requirement of the entire market. So here, if you see the paradigm which has shifted now, mostly what we are discussing, that there has to be two ways. One is that MSMEs exist and they improve on the large scale manufacturing capability, on competitive sourcing from India and in the local areas. They create a lot of jobs so that many of the people can be employed and boost economy and support break-even for the power utilities, because power utilities are operating in a break-even margin, so they cannot afford to have a lot of cost for this kind of switch gears or this from buying equipments. So definitely they have to buy in a low cost environment where MSMEs can only support, and they can only cater to the large requirements of the customer. On the other hand, if you see the MNCs, what today we have in our countries, these MNCs are in need to invest in core technologies in R&Ds like smart technologies, where they are building online monitoring 24 into 7, AI maintenance, what artificial intelligence has been put into IoTs. This investment is has to be more, and there has to be more encouragement for any collaboration with any Indian MSMEs, where their kind of chip technology or their kind of this sensor technology, which can be brought into India, and that can be delivered to all over the customers who are requiring this. So there has to be a balance, and there has to be a promotion for the MSME growth and sustainability in this sector. So what is the road ahead? How we can collaborate and sustain? So these are some of the points what I mentioned in the earlier slide. I will just brief that what is our idea and what is our proposal, so that that can be implemented on the policy from the policymaker side and from the utilities, from the users. If I go by raw material issue, this raw material issue can be resolved by liberating specification with surplus aluminium. Today most of the copper is getting imported, and we do not have a big control of this material, whereas aluminium, we have a lot of material which is produced in India, and there are good quality of aluminium which has been produced from many of the government PSUs, which can have good control. So definitely the specification can be liberated in that form. And there are a lot of technologies which has come up to ensure that the aluminium is also giving the similar kind of performances that the copper can give. So that will definitely help to ease out some of the raw material issue and fluctuating prices, which is dependent on foreign, I mean, on international issues. Then for cheap manufacturing, we have also already mentioned that it has to be. I think Mr. Devangan also mentioned that there are a lot of encouragement. So we should see some good growth in this. That cheap manufacturing has to be in India, so that we don't depend on our neighboring countries for any kind of issues with the international market. Then coming to credit liquidity issue, we are expecting that this can be done through a vendor financing scheme. because many of the PSUs are already into this, but government utilities are still on the open credit terms. So this will be ensuring that whatever we supply, we get our money on time, and that will be definitely put back into the system, and then the system can grow at a much faster rate. So then there is a lot of issues with the bank guarantee. Today, what we propose that if you can legalize with the banking system itself, that more than 3% BG cannot be granted. So that definitely will put back the pressure, and the specification can change that this can be managed with 3% BG, which will definitely increase the liquidity. Then coming to the credit case, if you see there is a lot of issues with the warranty. So once we are having some ANC contracts with definitely with the utilities and many of the users, that will minimize the defect liability period. So definitely that will increase the credit liquidity issue, because once you are not having the defect liability period for a long time, your BG can be get back to the bank, and bank can again pump in the finance back to the MSME. So this entire cycle can do quite a good if these three policies can be implemented. Then obviously for farm pricing, only two of the utilities what we see today is encouraging the EMA variation, and this EMA variation is having a particular formula, so everyone has to abide with the same formula. So the pricing can vary accordingly, and then it will be more flexible, and people can definitely participate with a much encouraging statement. Then we have type test validity, what we have mentioned, that introduce IEC based revision and design updation, not on the year based updation, because once your IEC is changing, if you see that today switchgear IEC has changed after almost 10 years, after 2011, and then 2021 is the last publication of the panel switchgears, and for the breakers it happened in 2017. So it can be, the clauses can be in that form that whenever the IEC changes, you can have a type test repeated and your product validation. But if you go on the validity of the years, then it is found that the suppliers who are manufacturing, they are also changing and implementing, and some of the things cannot be matched with the older supplies. So both the product line cannot be maintained on the manufacturing point of view. So that has to be somewhere nullified. Then product approval, as I said, that we can benchmark a lot of people from SAIL, PGCIL, and even CSC. There are people who are making a specification standard and following those specifications for any of the utilities all over India. So that would be helpful, that you have similar kind of requirement and the competition is fair, and the specification is well validated, well proven. No need to revalidate or re-understand. So that the process will also be faster. The product approval will also be smooth, and really some of the manufacturers who are developing in the product technology will be able to sustain. Then on the maintenance point of view, definitely some training calendar for all the skilled staff in the user sector has to be published, so that we can also participate and we can provide the training which is required to have a better maintenance facility. Then, as many of the speakers has mentioned, like online monitoring system, which has to be implemented in the specification. And today the online monitoring system is like that you can buy out separately and you can install in the older switchgears also. So that is not that you have to come as a package. It can be installed in the old switchgears as well as the new switchgear. So that needs to be somewhere started. And once it is started, definitely the maintenance time and the higher warranty period, all these things can be easily maintained. Then we are also proposing that some essential spares need to be stocked. Means if it is not the case that as a manufacturer we cannot deliver you those spares, or we don't maintain in our premises, but sometimes some spares which are very essential, these spares need to be stocked at your end, because the lead time of the manufacturing of that particular spare is quite high. So this is impacting both way. As a part of the warranty, you are expecting that everything should be on the next day, but it is not possible to do it for as a manufacturer for us also. So definitely we are also expecting that based on our recommendation, you also review and maintain some essential spares. It's not that you maintain the entire thing, but you maintain some essential spares, so that both way the burden can be reduced. So that's all. That is some of the key points what I wanted to mention.